Russia continues to destroy our energy sector, and these strikes are becoming increasingly dangerous. In some cases, they may even be more dangerous than Chernobyl. We will now try to sort all of this out together with you. Recently, Russian massive strikes on Ukrainian energy infrastructure have become particularly dangerous, despite the fact that Ukrainian energy workers continue to keep the systems running under extremely difficult conditions. The risk of serious accidents, including nuclear ones, is noticeably increasing. Representatives of the Ukrainian authorities, as well as international organizations specializing in nuclear safety issues, are publicly stating this. The situation is becoming unprecedentedly acute against the backdrop of statements from the International Atomic Energy Agency, an independent international body that monitors the condition of nuclear facilities worldwide. The IAEA has confirmed that the new safe confinement at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant has lost its main safety functions after being struck by a Russian drone. This means that the facility, which was designed to isolate the destroyed fourth reactor and prevent the spread of radioactive materials, can no longer fully perform the tasks for which it was created. The question arises, what will happen next and what should we expect? Hello everyone, my name is Anastasiia Husarieva. And while you subscribe to our channel and hit the like button, together we'll try to figure out what we might face as a result of terrorist attacks by the Russian Federation on our country. So let's get started. Just a year ago, in December 2024, the then Minister of Energy of Ukraine, Halushchenko, stated that there was a real risk of a nuclear accident at Ukrainian facilities. According to him, this threat is directly linked to the ongoing Russian attacks on the energy infrastructure. Halushchenko noted that nuclear energy today plays a key role in supplying Ukraine with electricity, covering up to 60% of the country's total needs. At the same time, the minister emphasized that the Ukrainian energy system operates under constant shelling, which creates additional risks for nuclear safety. He also pointed out that international partners can provide Ukraine with energy equipment, which is being used and effectively tested under the extraordinary and atypical conditions of a full-scale war. Almost a year after this statement, amid corruption scandals surrounding Halushchenko and intensified Russian attacks on Ukraine's energy sector, it is time to seriously discuss the risk of a nuclear threat. So let's start with the International Atomic Energy Agency, which has completed a comprehensive safety assessment of the new safe confinement at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant, which was damaged in February 2025 as a result of a Russian drone strike. As stated in the IAEA report published on December 5th, the mission confirmed that the confinement has lost its main safety functions, in particular its ability to contain radiation. At the same time, experts noted that the supporting structures and monitoring systems did not suffer irreversible damage. IAEA Director General Rafael Grossi stated that only limited temporary repairs have been carried out on the roof of the confinement. According to him, timely and comprehensive restoration remains critically important to prevent further degradation of the structure and to ensure long-term nuclear safety. The situation worsened after a Russian attack on an energy facility in Slavutych, as a result of which the Chernobyl nuclear power plant was plunged into a blackout. The Ministry of Energy of Ukraine reported an emergency situation at the Chernobyl NPP facilities. Due to power surges, the new safe confinement was temporarily left without electricity. This facility is a key element of the protection system, as it isolates the destroyed fourth power unit and prevents the release of radioactive materials into the environment. Currently, specialists are working to restore the power supply. And let us remind you that on October 1st, the Russian side attacked Slavutych. As a result of a drone strike on an energy facility, the city was left without electricity. About 20,000 residents were left without power. Similar problems arose in the Chernihiv region, where power outages were introduced due to a strike on an energy infrastructure facility. Energy workers began connecting alternative power sources and implemented outage schedules until the situation stabilizes. The situation surrounding the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, which is under Russian occupation, is of particular concern. The lack of external power supply to this plant became the longest-lasting outage on record and has raised serious concerns about the safety of the largest nuclear power plant in Europe. It was reported that the plant is operating solely on emergency diesel generators, which provide power to the cooling and safety systems. At the same time, it was emphasized that the lack of external power supply poses serious threats to nuclear and radiation safety. According to available information, the current fuel reserves for the diesel generators will last for about 10 days. Concerns are also growing regarding the condition of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. The plant's director, Ihor Tarakanov, stated in an interview with AFP that Russian shelling could lead to the collapse of the internal radiation shelter. According to him, the damage sustained by the facility this year poses a serious safety threat. Since the beginning of the war, Russia has repeatedly attacked the Chernobyl zone, raising concerns about the plant's ability to keep radiation at a safe level. In February 2022, immediately after the plant was seized by Russian forces, damage to key infrastructure elements was recorded. One of the most serious incidents was the destruction of part of the external radiation containment, which resulted in the loss of several safety functions. In February 2025, as a result of a drone strike, the upper part of the external shell of the new safe confinement was damaged, which caused a large fire. The damage caused significant harm to the external shell of the sarcophagus, which is the most important element of radiation protection. According to Tarakanov, the new safe structure has lost several of its main functions, and restoration may take from 3 to 4 years accordingly. After the unfortunate incident, the IAEA confirmed that the structure can definitively no longer perform its crucial primary safety functions, and specifically effectively containing hazardous radiation. And, well, the director of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant, a critical and historically significant facility, noted that another possible and highly dangerous strike, particularly a devastating missile strike, which, as we regrettably know, happens with alarming regularity in this ongoing conflict, could very easily lead to the inner shell of the reactor not adequately withstanding the immense structural load and pressure. He emphasized that a missile strike, particularly by an Iskander, directly on the shelter or near it, could cause a mini-earthquake effect in the area of the plant. According to Tarakanov, no one can guarantee that the structure will maintain its integrity if such a strike occurs. At the same time, he noted that currently radiation levels on the territory of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant remain stable and do not exceed permissible limits. However, the recovery process is complicated by damage to the containment and the consequences of the fire. In particular, during firefighting efforts, rescue services made about 300 openings in the structure, which still require repairs to prevent further degradation of the facility. And the concerns of the international community are also related to the fact that, despite its shutdown in 2000, the Chernobyl nuclear power plant remains one of the most dangerous sites in the world due to the presence of radioactive waste there. Any damage to its protective structures could have consequences not only of a local, but also of a global nature, affecting the environment and human health even beyond Ukraine's borders. In recent months, power plants across Ukraine have experienced operational disruptions. For example, on November 15th, the Khmelnytskyi nuclear power plant temporarily lost all access to the power grid as a result of military attacks and was forced to switch to backup power from those same diesel generators. The Rivne nuclear power plant also faced disruptions. The plant lost connection to the 750 kilovolt power transmission line, which led to a reduction in output and the automatic shutdown of one of its power units. According to Rafael Grossi, these events vividly demonstrate the fragility of the nuclear safety system in Ukraine during wartime. The Director General of the IAEA emphasized that even shutdown reactors require a constant power supply for cooling and to maintain key safety functions. Emergency diesel generators can provide backup power only for a limited time, which makes stable external electricity supply a critically important factor. The IAEA has announced the deployment of nuclear safety missions to Ukrainian nuclear power plants, including the Khmelnytskyi, Rivne, South Ukraine, and Chernobyl plants. These missions are organized at Ukraine's request and are aimed at preventing possible accidents. On December 23rd, it was reported that as a result of massive shelling, almost all consumers in the Rivne region were left without power, and outages were also recorded in the Vinnytsia, Chernihiv, Zhytomyr, Donetsk, Dnipropetrovsk, and Kharkiv regions. Acting Minister of Energy Artem Nekrasov stated that due to strikes on the energy infrastructure, Ukrainian nuclear power plants were forced to reduce their generation capacity. According to him, a return to nominal levels will only be possible after the damaged networks are restored. Thus, the situation surrounding Ukraine's energy sector and nuclear facilities remains extremely tense. The loss of external power supply, damage to protective structures, and ongoing attacks create a combination of risks that require constant monitoring and prompt response from both Ukrainian and international bodies. That's all I have time to tell you for today. Be sure to like this video, Share your thoughts about what you've heard in the comments, and we'll see you in our next broadcasts. Take care of yourselves and wash your hands with soap. Bye bye, everyone.